Once upon a time. These are the most magical words our world has ever known. They are calling into a world where everyone is welcome and anything can happen. Mice become men. Maids become princesses. And they can teach valuable lessons. Fairy tales are much more than silly bedtime stories. The solution to almost every problem imaginable can be found in the outcome of a fairy tale. Fairy tales are life lessons disguised with colorful characters and situations. The Boy Who Cried Wolf teaches us the value of a good reputation and the power of honesty. Cinderella shows us the rewards of having a good heart. The Ugly Duckling teaches us the meaning of inner beauty. Sadly, these timeless tales are no longer relevant in our society. We have traded their brilliant lessons for cartoons and video games. Parents let obnoxious cartoons and violent movies influence their children. The only exposure of these tales that some children get are adaptations that are stripped of every moral and lesson the originals were intended to teach. I recently read that films are depicting Cinderella as a struggling hip-hop dancer and Sleeping Beauty as a warrior who fights zombies.
Awesome.
I wonder if people would learn from the Little Mermaid's heartbreak when she dies at the end of her real story. I wonder if delinquents would be so inclined to misbehave if they knew of the consequences Goldilocks caused for herself with the 3 little bears. Perhaps, if we embraced fairy tales as much as we could, it would be much easier to find our own happily ever afters. In Rumpelstiltskin, what did the young maiden's father tell the king what his daughter could spin hay into? Does anyone know? Yes, Alessa?
He claimed she could spin hay into gold.
Good. Now, can anyone tell me what the compromise was that the maiden made with Rumpelstiltskin? Alessa?
In exchange for turning the hay into gold, the maiden promised to give Rumpelstiltskin her firstborn child when she became the queen.
That's a pretty steep deal.
What's a creepy old man want to do with a baby anyway?
Obviously, he couldn't adopt with a name like Rumpelstiltskin. Did he eat the baby?
Ugh, you're all missing the point. Rumpelstiltskin took advantage of the maiden because she was in need. The story's about the price of a bad deal. What are we willing to give up long-term in exchange for something short-term? Do you get it?
Nicely put. Alex? Alex? Alex!
Where am I? What happened?
I'm so glad you could rejoin us, Alex. Did you have a nice nap?
I'm so sorry, Mrs. Charlie. Sometimes when you talk for long periods of time, I doze off. No offense, I can't help it.
You fall asleep in my class at least twice a week.
Well, you do talk a lot.
I recommend you stay awake while I teach, unless you know enough about fairy tales to teach this lesson yourself.
I probably do. I mean, I know a lot about this stuff. That's all.
Oh, really? All right, Alex, if you're so knowledgeable, answer this question. In the original tale of Sleeping Beauty, how many years does the princess sleep before she's awoken by true love's kiss?
100. Sleeping Beauty slept for 100 years. That's why the castle grounds were covered in vines and stuff, because the curse affected everyone, and there was no one to garden.
Try to stay conscious. Lucky for you, I used my last detention slip this morning, but I can always request more. Now, class, I want you to get your books out and turn to page 170. Read Red Riding Hood quietly and by yourself.
We're almost there!
Look at you both. You have at least grown a foot since I last saw you.
Someday, when you're older, I'll take you to all the secret places where I used to play.
Alex!
Sorry.
What did we think of Red Riding Hood?
Miss Charlie, I'm confused.
And why is that?
Because it says that the big bad wolf is killed by the hunter. I've always thought that the wolf was just upset because the other wolves in his pack made fun of his town. And him and Little Red became friends in the end. At least that's what happened in the cartoon I watched when I was younger.
That is exactly why we are having this lesson. For homework, you are to pick your favorite fairy tale and write a paper due tomorrow on the real lesson the tale is trying to teach us. Alex, a word.
Yes, Mrs. Charlie?
I'm trying to be very sensitive about your family situation. However, there is certain behavior I will not tolerate in my class. You constantly fall asleep, don't pay attention, and not to mention your grades. Alessa is doing just fine. You should really follow her example. If this continues, I will have to talk to your mother.
Yes, ma'am.
If only fairy tales were real. Somebody could wave a wand and magically make things how they used to be. I'm so excited about this lesson. I mean, think about everything children miss out when they're deprived of fairy tales. Don't you just feel awful for them? Alex, are you even listening to me?
Yep.
Can you imagine a childhood without knowing all those magical characters and places? We're so lucky that Dad and Grandma read us so many fairy tales when we were younger.
Very lucky.
How am I ever going to choose which story to write about? It's too hard to pick. Which one are you going to write your paper on?
The Boy Who Cried Wolf?
You can't choose that one. That's the most obvious lesson. You need to impress Miss Charlie. Choose something not so on the surface.
Fine. I'll pick Sleeping Beauty.
Uh-huh. Interesting choice. And what do you think's the moral of the story?
Don't anger your neighbors, I guess.
Come on, be serious, Alex. That is not the moral of the story of Sleeping Beauty.
Sure it is. If the king and queen had just invited that crazy witch over for the party, none of that cursed stuff would have happened.
You're right. That could have stopped it from happening, but the witch was evil and probably would have cursed her anyway. Sleeping Beauty is about trying to prevent the unpreventable. I mean, they may have burned all the spindles, but she was so sheltered, she had no idea what she was being protected from. So she ended up pricking her finger.
I disagree. I've seen how upset you get when people don't invite you to parties. You look like you would curse a baby too. Anyways, I always thought Sleeping Beauty's parents had it coming.
Oh, so I bet you think Hansel and Gretel had it coming too.
Yes, and so did the witch. If you're going to live next door to a couple of obese kids, don't build your house with candy. A lot of these characters are missing common sense.
She didn't live next door. She lived deep in the forest, and the point of the house was to lure the kids in, at least. Have all the facts straight before you criticize.
Sounds like a couple of troublemakers.
Well, what do you think the lesson of Goldilocks and the Three Bears is?
Easy. Lock your doors. Robbers come in all shapes and sizes, even curly-haired, innocent little girls.
Goldilocks is about consequences. Miss Charlie even said that herself. How about Jack and the Beanstalk?
Bad beans can cause more than indigestion.
Alex, it's people like you who ruin fairy tales. People make jokes about them, and then the lesson is, look.
What's the matter? We both knew it would happen eventually.
Then why do I feel surprised? I guess it had been for sale for so long, I figured it was just, waiting for us.
Come on, Alyssa.
Daddy, I need to talk to you.
What's the matter, sweetheart?
I'm just having a really bad day.
Are the kids teasing you again? I can call the school and ask them to solve the problem.
That wouldn't solve anything. To be honest, I think they're just jealous. I read a psychology book today at lunch that explained all about it.
I think you're just too smart for your own good, Alyssa.
Sometimes I wish I was like everyone else. I don't want to be lonely, Daddy. If being smart means that I'll never have more friends, then I wish I was more like Alex.
Alyssa, have I ever told you about the curvy tree?
No.
Well, when I was walking around the forest, I noticed an evergreen tree, but it was different from any other evergreen tree I'd seen. Instead of growing straight out of the ground, it curved and twisted like vines.
What? That isn't possible. Evergreens don't grow like that.
Well, the loggers came and chopped down the other trees except for the curvy tree. They found it useless. You couldn't make a chair or table from it, so they left it. So all you have to do is wait for the loggers to come and chop down your peers.
Hi guys, did you have a good day at school? Yes, I can work a double this Monday. No problem. Thank you. How are you guys? What's the matter? You seem a little down. Come on, what is it? You can tell me anything.
The house sold. We saw it on our way home from school.
Yes, I know. You shouldn't be sad about it though. We'll find a bigger house as soon as we catch up on things here. So, what did you learn in school today?
Not much.
So much. That's because you fell asleep in class again.
Oh, not again. What are we gonna do with you?
It's not my fault. Mrs. Charlie's lessons just put me to sleep. Even my old rubber band trick doesn't work.
Well, don't forget how lucky you are to be in that classroom. Those kids in the hospital would love nothing more than to trade places with you.
Alright.
Hello? Tomorrow? No, there must be a mistake. It's the twins' 13th birthday, and I was planning on spending the evening with them. Are you sure there is no one else who can cover it? No, I understand. Yes, of course. I'm aware of the staff cuts. Bye. So I won't be here for your birthday, but we can celebrate the next night, okay?
Oh, that's fine, Mom. We understand.
Yeah, we aren't really expecting anything special anyway.
I'll be back. I try to stay strong and keep our family going, but it's really hard to do without you. They don't deserve this.
Mom, it's going to be okay.